So joining me today is Mary Hudson, who's up for election for District 2 in Skagit County. Mary, thanks so much for joining us today. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And again, the idea of this is to get to know a little bit more about the personality, the person. Mm-hmm. So what made you decide to run for commissioner?
I was unhappy with the way we were getting treated, if you will, from our commissioner, and I felt like we needed to have a team in place that would work with the cities together instead of against them. And I really believe that transparency is a critical issue when we come to any kind of a government function. The voters and the citizens need to understand what's going on with their governments at all levels.
Yeah. Look, these are the particularly difficult times that we're living in at the moment. You know, yesterday's impossible is today's reality, it seems. And one of the biggest issues is COVID. Have you yourself been affected by COVID, or your family? Have you
No, thankfully. I'm very thankful. I know a couple of the people that I work with at the nursery have had either themselves or a family member or a friend test positive. Everybody's been fine, so we've had to do different COVID protocols at both of our locations. I had to send my crew home for a couple days just because I wanted them to be tested and then know what their results were before we moved forward. So it's been an interesting time, to say the least. Stressful, I think, on everybody. But I think together, if we make smart choices, we will prevail.
We're really living in a polarized time at the moment. Every subject that comes up, every new challenge and issue that comes up ends up being polarized, and COVID more than anything, I think. And the polarity around COVID seems to be business or health, you know, mask or not mask and so forth. And people are saying, well, you know, we can't close up and follow all the science because it's just going to bankrupt the community and the society. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think there's a middle ground? What do you think is more important?
I think, first of all, it should not be a political issue, and it's very frustrating that it is. It should be a health issue, and we need to listen to scientists, and we need to listen to medical professionals. I am not either of those, so I will listen to the health department or whoever, Dr. Fauci or whoever is telling us what we should be doing. I believe that if we would have reacted faster in our country, we wouldn't be where we are right now. We would have been able to get over this in a more efficient and effective way, so we wouldn't be having to choose between wearing a mask or not wearing a mask because you want to make a political statement and saving someone's business or someone's life. It should be an easy choice. You should care about someone else, not just yourself. It's not all about you. So if you not wearing a mask will make somebody down the street have to close their business, that's a poor choice and it's a poor decision, and I feel it's very selfish. So for me, it's wear the mask, do the social distance, do what they tell you to do. Do I like it? No, I don't. I want to hang out with my friends, my family. I haven't seen my family like in a closed setting since March. I live with my dad, who's 90, so I'm very particular about what I do, and I really practice social distancing and mask wearing, everything, because there's no way I want to bring this home to him. So I feel like we have to be in this together. We have to want to achieve a goal. We want to get past this. We want to be back to normal, or what will be normal.
The new normal, yeah, sure.
You know, the new normal, right, exactly. So I think that we just have to care about other people, not just about ourselves.
Sure. So that kind of leads into values, really, because what you're expressing there is a concern for other people, which is certainly values driven. Who are some of your role models that you grew up with that you appreciate?
Well, I was in a military family. My father was in the Air Force, so we traveled a lot when I was a child. In fact, I moved here after I graduated from high school. So this is where I've lived most of my life, but it isn't where I went to school. So quite frankly, I'm pretty envious of some of my friends that have childhood friends that they've grown up with and gone to school with all those years. But That being said, I had a really strong role model in my parents. My parents are very involved in their communities, very kind and giving and welcoming. I never felt like anybody was unwelcome in our home. And I think when I moved here after high school, my grandparents lived in Everett. So it was really kind of a joy to be able to go down there whenever I wanted to see them, because it wasn't a normal for me when I was a kid.
Right.
So I felt a very close relationship with my grandma. She was a strong woman. She was honest and hardworking. And she helped me understand that those are good qualities in a person, that you should always give it your best, don't complain, just do what you need to do. I did bring some family photos here. This is a picture of my sisters and me. I believe I was in kindergarten or first grade when this was taken.
Which one is you?
I am right here, the cute one. Kidding. This is my oldest sister, Virginia. She lives outside Detroit. And then my sister, Nancy, lives in Bellingham. And my sister, Barb, lives here in Mount Vernon. I remember this day. My grandma made the dresses. And I remember this photographer telling me to tilt my head down. So I do remember this day specifically. It's kind of funny that you remember things like that.
We don't do that.
Yeah. So that's one of my favorite pictures, actually, of me and my siblings. This is another one of us, obviously later. My sisters, again, when my sister comes out from Detroit, she comes like every couple years. Well, then we have family photos. And this is the one of just the 4 girls, but we have one, of course, with all the nieces and nephews, too.
Right,
so
right.
This is the one I selected.
So you're a close family, huh?
Yes, very much. We Zoom now so that we can keep up with our dad, so who I live with, of course. This is a picture of when, I do not remember this picture, but this is me and my older sister, Virginia. So I don't remember the picture, but I love this picture. I think it's really cute. I think that's when we were friends now.
You're still recognizable.
Yeah. And then this is just one of, I don't know why I brought this one. This is just me. When I worked at Sears, was the photographer liked to do pictures and say, oh, let's try this new shot. And so we would all go into the photography studio and play around. And then the last one I have actually is just a little snapshot. It's a Polaroid of one of my friends from Sears that we dressed up as cheerleaders. So this is us outside the old Sears store here in Mount Vernon, my friend Tammy. So yeah, those are just some of the pictures that I was able to find.
So what would you say are the things that motivate you?
You know, I'm motivated when people come up to me and say, thank you for what you're doing on the council. I really agree with the way you're doing this. Or they even feel like they can offer a differing opinion to me, but they feel like I will listen to them. And I'm motivated too to make things better for the next generation, or obviously the current generation of people that are here, the generations, but for the future, I want to have things better for them and have the joys that we've had growing up.
As far as Skagit's concerned, it's quite a multicultural society. What do you think are some of the best qualities of Skagit?
I have to say that I love living here. I love the beauty of where we live. We are so fortunate. Mountains, water, farmland, cities. We have it all. And I'm proud to say that I work with a group of Hispanic men, pretty much dominantly, and I adore them and listen to them and want to hear from them and talk about what's going on in their lives. So I feel very fortunate that I am able to have friends from all walks of life, any walk of life. They're in my life, and I'm very happy to have that, and happy that I've got a family. My family is here. You know, most of my family is here. I have a sister that lives outside Detroit. So, but most of my family is right here, so I'm very thankful for that.
Sure. What do you think are some of the biggest challenges in Skagit County?
Well, first of all, we need to get past COVID, right? We need to get past that. So, well, that kind of goes without saying. But I think we have issues with housing. We all know that. It's not a surprise. Homelessness, it's something we need to work on harder and come together with solutions. We need more business. We need to grow our business footprint, if you will. So I think that we've got, and we need to protect our rural land. We really have to be careful and careful of water issues or not losing any farmland. We need to respect the tribes. We need to work together to make it work for everybody in our community.
So do you think there's a way of approaching that and kind of keeping everybody happy? Is that possible?
I want to try. I hope so. I really do. I like listening to people. I like talking to people. I want to hear their ideas. I appreciate it if someone comes to me with an issue, that they also come to me with a, how about this kind of a solution? Because you don't know everything, and you need to listen to the experts. You need to listen to the people that live that life, or what their issues are. That's their issue in their life. You need to appreciate what they're saying to you. I think that if we were all more willing to compromise and to come together and have good conversations instead of antagonistic conversations, we would be way ahead.
Yeah. So what you're bringing up there is one of the biggest issues I think that's kind of woven through everything, and that's this polarity. And it's great when we agree, but we don't have the ability to agree to differ. Mm-hmm. We just have this polarized situation with everything. What are your thoughts on polarity, and what do you think is the way forward to address that?
You have to have a buy-in, though, from everybody. That's the whole issue, is you need to get people to understand that we can agree to disagree, and that's okay. I do that with my friends. I do that with business owners. I hear your point. This is where I'm coming from. Maybe we won't see eye to eye, but can we come somewhere in the middle? I think, unfortunately, social media has a huge hand in that, because you're sitting on your phone or your computer and you're able to type these nasty comments to people that you might not even know, and you're fine with that. I think, unfortunately, we have a president who does that, and that's not good for anyone. It doesn't help anything. No conversation will come out of that. No good conversation will come out of that. So I think we just have to get to the point where we respect each other, agree to disagree. Maybe we'll find some common ground and we can work towards that. I sure want to be able to try. That's where I'm coming from.
Can you just chat a little bit about the work that you do at the moment and how that will help you in moving forward as a commissioner?
Well, I have two jobs. My main job is general manager for Wells Nursery. I've been there for 28 years. My other job is city council for Mount Vernon. I'm in my 5th year. So I think I have, I'm able to put, a story to different issues that arise in our city. Like I said, I work with this wonderful group of men, and I'm able to have conversations and understand what their frustrations, worries, whatever it is. How can I help you? But in the city, it's a big process. It doesn't, you can't fix everything all the time. There are some things that we just can't fix because it's not our role, if you will, and I don't mean to just shove it off. There are certain things that we can't control, but where we can control, we need to try to find partners, because money is always an issue, no matter what. And we have to be able to partner with people or organizations or other levels of government to be able to get things done, because if it was just dependent on the city, it probably couldn't happen just financially. I think there's a lot of will to get things done. I want to bring together, all the cities. Let's work together on programs and projects.
Yeah. I mean, economics is massive, because as we move forward into this new normal that we're not sure what it is, I mean, the financial effects on that are going to be massive. So I think as commissioner, there's definitely going to be a lot of hard decisions that have to be made to deal with that.
Yes, I agree with you. I've been listening to the budget presentations that the commissioners get every year when they're getting ready to set the budget for next year. And it's really interesting to listen to the department directors lay out what their needs are You know, they lay out everything, who their employees, full-time, part-time, everything that they need, they lay it out in a budget, and then the commissioners get to ask questions. The finance director obviously is there, so there's a lot of discussion going on, but then there's got to be a lot of inner discussions in your head, or reaching out to someone or a department head just to kind of bounce things off to see if there's ways to shave a few things off your budget, because you're right, it's going to be a tough year coming up, I believe. I think that we are all going to feel some discomfort through no fault of our own, but it's just what we have to deal with, and we have to make the best choices for the most people.
And with that process, I mean, there's three of you, right? There's three commissioners. I'm not fully sure of the dynamics of how that works, but three people, you know, I guess it's always good to have an odd number. How do you see yourself working with the other commissioners? Well,
the one issue, I guess, that I can say is that any two commissioners cannot have a conversation about county business without it being a public meeting, because it's a quorum. So if I was a commissioner, I couldn't talk to Commissioner Janicki and say, what do you think about this, blah, 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 because you can't, you're really not supposed to. It's a law.
Can you email each other?
No, because that's open for, that's also open for, somebody could ask for public records.
Yeah.
So you really can't. So your best avenue to me is you need to discuss it with the directors. You need to discuss it with the finance director. You need to have buy-in too with the staff. You know, the staff is the one that, they're the boots on the ground, if you will. They're the ones that are doing the work. So they need to have some discussion, or come to them and say, how could we save this much money? Where do you think we could do something in your area? You know, I think there needs to be a robust conversation, and it needs to happen. And I feel hopeful that it's happening now at the commissioner level. I know that it's going to be hard. It's going to be a hard budget for them, and I'm looking to see how they determine the best way to move forward. But realizing that if I am lucky enough to win, the budget is already set for next year. Right. There's not a lot. I mean, you can make amendments and things like that, but realistically, you're working with what they're giving you.
Yeah. What are your thoughts or what are your hopes for Skagit in the future?
I think we need to realize that we will have a new normal. We will find that some people are able to work at home, and it works pretty well. Some people probably don't want to work at home and should be in a facility or an office or whatever. I think we need to be open to different businesses, different technology-driven businesses. I also believe that we need to help our downtowns become more representative of what we are as a community. I think downtowns should be, I think it's fair to say that malls are kind of going away. It doesn't, you know, as you look in Burlington, that mall is closing. So we need downtown stores. Our downtowns are the hearts of our communities, and I think we need stores that are reflective of what we are and what we do, not box stores, individual boutique stores. I think that is the way to help our towns reestablish, if that's the right word, and spread it out to all of our communities, because we have communities all over the county.
And to create more kind of micro businesses.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to start moving forward, or just thinking about things like that.
So moving way into the future, looking back, if you do become commissioner, what would you like to be remembered for? Is there anything that's at the back of your mind that you'd like to kind of, I don't want to say a pet project, that sounds terrible, but is there something that you would like to kind of succeed at and be remembered for?
You know, I don't need to have my name on a building or a project. I I want to be remembered as somebody who wanted to help, wanted to be a conduit for people to have someone to talk to, someone that's going to go out there and fight for them or try to make things better. I just really want to be someone that people can count on to get things done, to listen, to ask questions, move forward where you can. That's the kind of person I want to be remembered as, someone who gave back to her community.
That's great, thank you. So good luck
Thank you.
with the election. I hope it goes well for you. And thanks
Thank you.
again for joining us.
Absolutely, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.